Hello, everyone. It's Frank Carlyle here. It's FC.Liverpool, and we're going to talk about everything Liverpool. Anything you want to say, just comment. It'll all be read out. We a great guest there, James, and he's all the way from Singapore. Singapore.
Morning, Frank.
Stays up all morning to come on. Could you? I fell asleep before in the afternoon. I fell asleep. Oh, he's awake, waiting to come on. That shows you the enthusiasm of our Liverpool fans everywhere, except me because I fell asleep. Anyway, it's how are you, James?
I'm good, Frank. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I really am. It's just good that the other night, the other night with the Leeds game, which was absolutely great. What did you think?
Um, I was not surprised.
Why weren't you surprised?
Yeah, I was not surprised because I think as the protest against FSG heats up,
Yeah,
then something had to happen to be convincing. And we know all the fans have now bought what they saw and, thinking that, well, we've got 6-1, so they must be doing the right thing. And they've forgotten all about FSG and the
yeah,
protest against.
yeah. Yeah.
So I
The thing is, you see, there's lots of. I put on someone put a post up and said about it, and I said, well, if Jurgen Klopp would have, had more backing, more investment, he would have won more trophies. That's in my opinion. And then you get the usual messages by saying, in Jurgen I trust, but it wasn't in Jurgen I trust Klopp. I said, well, I haven't mentioned anything about Klopp. I mentioned about the investment, the lack of investment.
yeah,
And people just don't get it. They just don't get it. And I said, I even like carried on with the quote and saying, forget the old cliche now of look what they've done for us, or and these silly other things, and they saved us and all this garbage. And they just don't get it. They just do not get it. I'm talking about investment. They can be the owners forever, evermore, but they've got to show the ambition. They've got to show this ambition for
that's right.
investment. That's all. We only need is one player, a top class player every season. But now we're in this predicament about the midfield. And no matter what, no matter how we look at Trent, he was great the other night. He was exceptional, to be honest, when you look at the stats that was created. But when you look at in the cold light of day, it's the midfield that's let us down right through the season because they've got no legs at all. Now, my point is, if they just started investing for a midfielder, like I said 2 years ago, and the beginning of this season as well, that two midfielders that would have bolstered up what we're going through now, that would have been sorted. But this is in my opinion. But they never did it. Now we need three midfielders of top quality
Yeah,
instead of
going
one.
for quantity above quality, Frank.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And 6-1 against Leeds out of the blue. I mean, and then 7-0 against Manchester United kind of intrigued me for a bit. So I did some research, Frank, and um, there's a term they use for it. It's called deliberate underperformance.
yeah, yeah,
And the Americans call it sandbagging, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
apparently, Chelsea was suspected of carrying that out for one whole season because the players protested against Andre Villas-Boas. If you remember one season, they did very, very badly,
Yes, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then
I
there
think
was
we've
that
got a
FA
good
Cup
comment.
final where Steven Gerrard was suspected of intentionally missing that penalty because of being as a protest against Roy Hodgson.
Yeah, yeah,
So that's
yeah,
what I mean by deliberate underperformance. And I believe that throughout this season, as I said the other day, if you remember, I raised the issue about Manchester United and how strange it was that we could jump from losing games to actually beating Manchester United 7-0 and then
yeah,
going on an immediate decline again. And then
yeah,
suddenly, when everything heats up against FSG and there are lots of protests, we go on a 6-1 winning spree, a wide margin.
yeah.
Now, that's very strange. So I'm just wondering whether this was a season that was deliberately underperformed, or was Klopp and the players trying to prove a point, or is he waiting till he gets the right players in to prepare for next season, and therefore he used this season as a training season to experiment?
It's a good theory, like, but I was like, we're out of everything. We're out of everything, and we're struggling to get forward. And
Mm.
it's fourth play. It's Champions League is a must for Liverpool Football Club
Yep.
because with
Yes.
the makes no difference how you look at it. Liverpool are the most successful British club in Europe by a
We
mile.
definitely, yeah.
So the Champions League is nothing without Liverpool. Remember last season when we got to the final, but every round that we were in, and every team that was drawn against us, we're hoping to avoid us. Now you're seeing the stature drop from what we were last season and the season before
Right.
and the season before. So to think like an experiment, I don't know. I really don't. It's hard to. You see,
Well,
Klopp at the beginning of
let's
the season, James. You must admit that Klopp got it. He said, "You got it right. I got it wrong," and these are to the journalists on the penultimate day. And in my opinion, he had no money to. Even that Shumani lad, I don't think he had the money to buy him. I really don't, because he's. I think they're going to get rid of him this season because he never quite did it at Real Madrid. Shumani, and I believe that he wanted to come here rather than Real Madrid. And that's why, his art wasn't in it. That's just my opinion. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's just
Yeah.
my opinion. And I don't think Liverpool had the money to buy him, just like they haven't got the money to buy the other fella, Bellingham.
Yeah.
And, it's still like this, the underbelly of the Bellingham saga still carries on by them saying, oh, well, we still could sign him.
Mm.
I just don't
Well,
know. I
I'm
just don't
assuming
know.
what you're saying is that uh, Klopp wouldn't have given up the season because we needed the Champions League badly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now, what
Yeah.
get done, Frank?
Well, Paul Burke says Frank beating a very poor Leeds side does not hide the fact of our problems this season, and that puts everything what Paul Burke says in a nutshell. It just puts everything in perspective, and it
Yeah.
was a very, very poor Leeds United side.
It is. It is.
It made Liverpool look great.
Yep.
Oh, don't get me wrong, James. I was made up with the win.
Well,
Undoubtedly, I was made
I
up with
just
the
think
win.
that we could have done better if had we wanted to. But you've got
Yeah,
to ask yourself, if we had gone ahead and gone all out. If you see what Klopp said after the Manchester United game,
yeah,
he wanted all the players fit. He needed
yeah,
all the players to come together fit. Now, along the way, he may have calculated that the most important matches would be the last 8 games or the last 7 games where we could accumulate enough points to make it to the top 4. But
okay.
had we gone all out against, let's say, Real Madrid, and we had won a match and we would have incurred a lot of injuries. We would have failed along the way. We wouldn't have won the cup. Klopp knows that without all the players coming in or people like Bellingham coming in. And I think that had he gone and done better, that FSG would have told him, look, you're doing very well. We don't have to buy you a lot of players. We don't have to invest too much in a transfer market, which in fact they are not doing. It's not their money. It's Liverpool's money, you know. So he would have told Klopp, look, you don't need to invest so much in the transfer market because you're doing well. So that's a good reason, a very good reason for Klopp not to go all out this season, especially when he had in the first half of the season, he had like 7 to 8 players injured.
Okay, well, excuse me, right. Let's see what Stephen Snape says. And he's, excuse me, he says, I don't think it's a lack of money. I think it's more to do with FSG's reluctance to spend. We've made money hands over fist in the last few years. The Anfield Road extension is a smokescreen. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep, 100%.
And, it's, see, people tend, when they say, look what they've done for us, they mean the stand, the main stand now and the Anfield Road stand. And I say to them, but it's our money. It's not the owner's money. It's not the owner's money. It's our money. It's our money. So where's the money that's supposed to go on the pitch? And it doesn't go on. And the lack of investments in midfield, I don't know. I really don't know who to blame, because you have a lot of people saying, I'd say, I love Klopp. I want him to stay forevermore. But I think he was neglectful in the midfield area. Definitely neglectful. He was all right buying the forwards and, even the backs, even the centre backs or whatever. But when you look at the midfield, and in 4 years, one player, Thiago, who was injury prone anyway, and he brought him in. Forget
Right.
Mello. Forget Mello. So what do you think of that? Do you think that, who's at fault? Is it the owners for not saying, well, here is the money to go and buy, or is it Klopp for their neglect? And don't forget, in the January window, we were still screaming out for midfielders, and he brings in a forward.
As much as I love Jurgen Klopp, Frank, I'm going to say this. William Shakespeare said that there's a quote by William Shakespeare which goes like, it is not that I love Caesar less, but I love Rome more.
Yeah.
Therefore, it's not about loving Klopp less or not trusting him, but because I love the club more, and Klopp has actually not stood up enough for the fans or for the club in telling the owners what we need. Now, that has to do with integrity and how much he believes himself to be the leader of the club. And Jurgen Klopp is indeed the leader of the club. He represents the fans. If you look at Rafael Benitez again, I will raise his name because he told us, there's a banner, I think, in the Anfield Stadium, which says the players know who they are playing for, and they are playing for the fans.
Yeah.
And that's by Rafael Benitez, right? Now, that's leadership. So basically, the team represents the fans at the city of Liverpool, but Klopp seems to be more interested in, protecting the owners. And he's gone and said that, what do you expect from me? I'm a professional. Well, if you're a professional, then you should know who the team plays for. It's not the owners, it's the fans.
But talking about Rafa Benitez, and your Shakespeare link there, I always said this about Rafa Benitez, because he always asked for money, didn't he? He did ask the owners, and I always said that it's a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage and his head no more. And I always, that quote I always reference to Rafa Benitez with the owners.
Yeah.
I always reference that particular quote from Macbeth to Rafa Benitez. But with Klopp, which I love Rome more, which is absolutely spot on, to be honest, because we love the club more. We love the club more than we do Jurgen Klopp.
That's right.
And we love the club more than we do these owners. So we're in a quandary. We're in a no-win situation with both. But don't forget. I know you love Klopp. I love Klopp. Everybody else loves Klopp for what he's done for Liverpool Football Club. For what he's done for Liverpool Football Club, and you can't deny that.
Bill Shankly said it's the Trinity. The manager, the fans, and the players. It's a Trinity, and all the owners have to do is to sign the checks. Now that's a real football club.
Yeah, of course. And you've got Jake Whittaker says, Frank, FSG aren't bothered about us, mate. Never mind the new Anfield Road stand. If I buy a house and put an extension on it, it'll just be an investment for when I sell it. FSG aren't bothered about us. And that's a nail on the head as well. 100%. That's a nail on the head by Jake Whittaker.
And I promise you this, Frank, is going to repeat itself in another 3 or 4 years. This whole phenomena is going to repeat itself. It's a vicious cycle. They are the wrong owners for the club. And Klopp has to speak up more and call him out on it, because they will not dare terminate his tenure with the club.
Yeah. No, I think that's it. I think we've got great comments. And Charlie Kerr says, even in Frank and all the gang, even in Charlie, he's a very old school friend, this Charlie.
Yeah.
And neighbour, by the way, and neighbour. And Jake Whittaker says, we need FSG to sell up and go and get Eastern European money if we're going to compete with the big clubs in Europe and the Premier League.
Frank,
so
no one is going to buy the club now. They are not going to want to deal with FSG, because they know that FSG are like loan sharks. They are going to charge an exorbitant fee, way above what they deserve.
Yeah.
And no one wants to pay that amount to FSG. It has to be action from the fans. It has to be action from the fans that corners FSG and forces them to to sell the club, like we did with Gillette and Hicks.
Yeah.
We can't just allow them to have a free reign, because they're going to put look at what's happening with Manchester United. The Glazers are staying now.
Yeah.
You see, so the same thing is going to happen. But I tell you, in 3 or 4 years' time, we'll be pleading with FSG for players again, because they are still going to be the owners, and we are going to go through this whole thing again. They are going to make promises again about the next transfer window, and the only thing they'll regret doing is that there won't be another pandemic to help them come out with excuses.
Yeah, but again, they've got a model which they think is absolutely brilliant, which is a sell to buy. It's a sell to buy policy. So no matter who's say like Mo Salah and Trent Arnold, to be honest, they're the most saleable. That's who you get the most money for, those two players. I've always said that. And it wouldn't surprise me if one of them was sold. Now, imagine selling, say, Trent, for example. Say we sold Trent. They're selling an homegrown player, but not just an homegrown player, but he's a Scouser. He's a Liverpool lad who loves the club. He's got the club here. He's got the club at his heart. He's always been a Liverpool fan ever since he's seen the colour red. And if they sold him, I think some fans would go, oh, well, yes, fine. But there'd be other fans like myself and yourself, most probably, who say, well, hang on a minute, something's wrong here to bring in another player. Why should we sell one of our star players? Because don't forget, they usually spin as well why the player left. You can go from Torres right up to Mane and Taki last season because they got money for those two players, and they always spin that they wanted to go or whatever, so that they could get some sort of money in to buy Nunes. But you've got other revenue coming in from the likes of the finals that we were in last season and finishing second in the league. 3 finals, finishing seconds in the league. Why couldn't we just buy him outright instead of selling on? And that's what I done. And the merchandise was incredible. The merchandise, the Asian merchandise sold. Where did that money go? Millions. I'm talking millions.
Precisely.
I just don't know where it goes from.
But let's look at the problem we face, Frank. The problem is, selling to buy is not the right model because that's sustainable only for FSG's profit. It's not sustainable for the team. And if you look at the problem we have had over the past few seasons, whenever we suffered injuries, it was because we didn't have a pool of players large enough that had the quality to replace someone like Van Dijk or to replace someone like Konate or Nunes or Mo Salah. So we need a pool of players that's large enough so that when we have, along the way, when we have players that are injured, then we call upon the supplement players.
Yeah.
That has a problem. So to sell to buy, that is definitely the wrong model to have. And that's killing our club. That's like, cutting off your left leg so you can keep your right.
Well, Stephen Snape says, we get on a moral horse pertaining to dirty oil money. But the truth is, FSG needs to sell to someone who can compete with the level of financial muscle. We either grow teeth or drown. That's a good point, though. Good analogy.
And they don't have to be Arabs.
No.
They have to be Arabs. There are lots of rich people in the world.
Yeah. Well, there's that of Chelsea. He spent more than we done. He spent more than in a one window than we've done in years put together, combined. Absolutely. All right, Chelsea are a different kettle of fish to what we are.
Imagine if Chelsea was giving players to Jurgen Klopp. Even if their owner for Chelsea, Tom Burley, was buying players for Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah. Just imagine. That's my point. People say, look what he's done for us, but I'm talking about Jurgen. And I just say, well, just imagine if he had the financial clout of the owners, from the owner, to go on the pitch. We would have won more than one Premiership. We would have won more than one CL. And we would have done. I'm sure of that.
And
I think we would have beaten Real Madrid twice in the last 2 cup finals that we played against them. Champions, we would have beat them. If we would have had the muscle, if we would have had the players, to come off the bench We had the worst goalkeeper I've ever experienced in my lifetime following Liverpool, and I've been following Liverpool for many, many, many years.
Precisely.
From the Shankly days. And that Karius was the worst goalkeeper ever. And I even said, leading up to our defence saved us. Our defence saved right through that tournament when that Karius was in goal. He was hopeless. His positioning was hopeless. He was just hopeless. Absolutely.
Because we had a terrible goalkeeping coach, Frank.
And Jurgen said he's the best goalkeeper, second best goalkeeper in Germany. And I went, we want the best. Yeah. He was shocking, and he cost us. He cost us the title that year. He cost us. I'm talking about the Champions League,
right?
Because we were the better side than Real, far better. and he cost us. And, that's in me, That's in me. And you had fans, actual fans saying, I'll never forget it, oh, let's keep him another season and give him the confidence because he's lost a load of confidence. That's how thick some fans are of ours. I would have never have played. I said at the time, play Mignolet. Play Mignolet, he's far better than him. Didn't. But that's it,
They couldn't even bring in a proper goalkeeping coach. Archibald was subjecting the goalkeepers to training tactics that were used by American football teams, Frank, not English football.
Yeah.
So that made him slower, and he was not a good goalkeeping coach until Alisson had to plead with the management to get in a Brazilian football coach.
Yeah, a Brazilian coach, yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
Do you think that if Big Ali was in the goal in Kiev against Real, we would have won that day? We would have won the Champions League.
Yep.
Against Real. I do. I even said Mignolet. I think we would have beaten Real that day if Mignolet was in goal.
Yep.
Dreadful. Worst goalkeeper I've ever seen at Anfield. In fact, worst goalkeeper I've ever seen. I know I'm going on.
They lost their touch, Frank.
Well, okay. Brian Edley is using his granddaughter's thing there. All right, lads. Sorry I'm late. Rafford's done absolutely brilliant, as good as Jaeger under the same clowns of owners. And he did. He did. That's when Nix and Gillette came in, didn't it? And they just sold him. Sacked him, more or less. He had to walk, didn't he?
Yeah.
Rafford. He had to walk. Let's go through this.
It was his fault.
Yeah. Stephen Snape, neither Klopp or FSG have inculpable emotional investment. In the final analogy to Klopp, it's a job, and to FSG, it's a business. To us, it's a lifetime's relationship. That's brilliant, that. Because it just mentions in me, we love the club more than we love the manager. We love the club more than we love the owners. I go back to the Shanks, and so there's different managers at different periods of time, different players, and we've seen them move on. I've seen some of the greats move on. Some of the greats for Liverpool Football Club move on. You're upset, but things evolve. And unfortunately, with these owners today, nothing's evolved, especially in midfield. And that's the way it is, especially in midfield.
And that is why England will never win the World Cup, Frank.
Sorry?
That is why England will never win the World Cup. If you read a book by Simon Cooper and Stefan Zibanski, they are economists, football economists, and they were the first ones to write the book about Moneyball or Sabermetrics. And they wrote a book about why England will never win the World Cup. And it's precisely, as you said, we are not evolving. And there are good football models out there we can learn from. For example, the German model, where fans have a role to play in the teams, in the clubs, and they still can afford to buy the best players in the world. We can learn from them about how football should be managed. But the British FA is not interested in that, are they?
No. I don't follow England. I follow Italy.
Yeah.
I follow Italy. My mother's country. I follow the old Italians. I always have to be honest. Always have to. Never followed England at all.
Yeah,
so,
Dino Paolo Rossi.
Wow.
1982.
Hat-trick. That's it. And Tardelli, you know, I'll never forget the image of Tardelli when he scored. He was, you know, when he scored and he was running at Tardelli, absolutely amazing. You see his face, and I tell you what, it reminds me of a few years later. That the face on Tardelli when he scored, you know, and do you ever remember when Maradona scored? I forget who it was against. And he just ran to the camera and his eyes were wide open, and you know, just like Tardelli. So that's the thing inside, you know, that's the passion, you know, for the scorer. Absolutely. But we're like that. You've only got to look at Mo Salah. Mo Salah's incredible. You know, people are saying he's having a terrible season, and yet he scored 20 odd goals for a bad season.
Exactly. I think he's holding the current record for Liverpool.
Yeah. And Brian McGivern I'm sorry, Brian Edley says Jurgen needs to start making noise now about the summer before we get anywhere near it, because they will just sleepwalk right through another window. So there's people here now on the comments that are not really trustworthy of the owners. Every one of them. Every single one of them. Right. Let's see.
I think there should be new legislation in England about who owns football clubs in England or sporting entities. You know, I think there should be a new fitness for purpose test. And the one thing that struck me was that, are you aware that in Southeast Asia or in many Asian countries, if you are going to buy any business or any corporation or entity, you would have to put that entity under the name of a local. He has to be half owner of that entity before you can run a business locally. And that could exactly be what England should do with football clubs there. If anyone wants to buy a football club, then it should be partly owned by that city or someone from England. There should be legislation that protects clubs from owners like FSG and hedge fund companies or corporations from America.
No, I'll tell you for why. I'm very political, by the way. Very political. And there's hedge funders in this country. There's hedge funders in this country. But they can't, they don't want to get involved in really into the ownership of clubs. They really don't. This is why there's lots of foreigners now, especially Americans. Americans are coming in because they're going to make a lot of money. Even Tom Bowley, he's going to make a lot of money at Chelsea, albeit that he spent millions, about 600 million or something like that. But he's selling on players. This is why I think we'll be buying Mason Mount. And Brian Edley says, Frank, who is your guest's name? I missed the start. Well, you shouldn't have missed the start, Brian. So I'm not telling you who he is. It's Batman. It's Batman. No, his name is James. His name is James, Brian. His name is James.
Oh, hi, Brian.
He says, well said, Frank, we should have won more easily. We have gifted them 2 Champions Leagues. Yeah, absolutely, says Brian Edley. And Gaz Riley says, Frank, why don't you answer comments on your other channel, the history one? I left 2 there. I don't know, Gaz. I'm being honest. I mustn't have seen them. Because I just mustn't have seen them, Gaz. If you put them up now, if you're still there, that is, put them up now and I'll try and answer them, albeit this is a football show. great, isn't it? What's in your answer? What's in your
I
answer
would,
this question?
Prime Minister, honestly.
When Mo was wrestled to the ground, we were cheated out of the game against Real, says Stephen Snape. Combined with Carrier's antics, it was a terrible game to lose. Klopp, with the backing, would rule both Europe and England. I think we've come to that conclusion, haven't we,
Yep.
James?
Yes, we did. And it's just sad. Like I said earlier, I wish Jeremy Corbyn was Prime Minister, because I remember he said that he would have, I think he's an Arsenal, either him or his son is an Arsenal fan. And he did say that he was going, if he was Prime Minister, he would change the legislation to make sure that fans had a role to play with football clubs.
Yeah.
So it's really sad. I think I admired him a lot. I think, well, it's no surprise, Frank. I mean, we can't choose, if you can't choose a proper leader for England, then, you know, how are we going to know right from wrong when it comes to club ownership?
But you're talking about England, right? It doesn't interest me. It's like you might as well talk about Scunthorpe United rather than Liverpool, because I don't follow England. I do not follow them. And funny enough, when Steven Gerrard was captain, someone said to me, Steven Gerrard, he plays for Liverpool. I said, yeah. I said, and he said, well, and you don't follow England, and he's the England captain. I said, no. Why? Why should I? And I was away. I go to Italy quite a lot, and I was away to. I was in a place called Cattolica, and it's a German. Like, most Germans go there for a holiday, rather than anywhere else in Italy. So they go to this place called Cattolica, and I was there, and there was all these Germans, and they were good people. But anyway, there were all these English as well, and we were sitting in a bar, and they had the match on, England and Germany, and Liverpool. Sorry, well, you might as well say Liverpool beat them, and England beat them 5-1. England beat them.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
Steven Gerrard scored as well, and so did Ivanhoe himself. So people, and they were jumping up and down, I get in there, and I was just sitting there. I wasn't bothered. I was made up. The lad scored. Esky, Ivanhoe, Esky, he scored. Michael Owen, and as I said, Steven Gerrard. And, it just doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. I jump up and down if Italy score. I jump up and down when they win the World Cup, and they did. With Cannavaro, as captain. And he was going around the Circus Maximum in Rome to all the fans. Absolutely brilliant. Brilliant. Loved it. Anyway, Charlie Wood says, we love the club more than the players. Yes, exactly, Charlie. No one is bigger than the club. The club will still be there when FSG have gone. When we are pushing up you're right. You're right. Absolutely spot on. Says Charlie Wood. And Stephen Snape, my national team is Germany. Proudly. See, the likes of, you get the odd bitten supporters, and they'd look at Stephen and say, oh, yeah, you must be a neo-Nazi or something like that, to support Germany. And it's not that. It's just not that. Because I was called a fascist once. I was called a because I support Italy. Because, they think of Mussolini and that. Oh, yeah, okay. So. Anyway, I've got Ian Golder coming on when he gets here from work. Okay,
so there's going to be another guest?
Yeah, Yeah,
Oh, lovely.
big Red. He's finished. He said he'd be here by 9 o'clock or something like that.
Yeah.
I
I
do-
hope Mick is feeling better.
Yeah. Sorry.
Mick. I hope he's feeling better.
Oh yeah, Mick. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's bad, isn't he? So he
Yeah.
said. So he said. I mean, he might be watching a match or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Shouts regarding due diligence or fit for purpose retaining the indigenous link is vital, says Stephen Snape. Yep. It is. It is. Do you reckon that Trent should play in midfield? I said this, didn't I? A month or so ago, or a week or two ago. I don't know when I said it now. And I said I'd put Trent in midfield, put Gomez at right back because he can play there, and just let him see what he's like till the end of the season.
Yeah.
And against Leeds, he played in midfield, and his statistics was absolutely unmerciful. They were brilliant.
Well, Trent Alexander-Arnold, he started his career as a midfielder, Frank.
Yeah,
He was an
yeah,
attacking midfielder, and I think the reason Klopp knew all along that he should be playing in midfield. But again, I'm thinking that Klopp knows he knows enough not to play Trent in midfield. Otherwise,
yeah,
FSG say, well, then we don't need to transfer and invest into transfers and buy another midfielder
yeah.
because you've got Trent. You see,
Well, yeah,
so
here's one for you in comments. James says, Brian Headley, James, who do you think would be great additions to our squad? Thanks, mate. So, who would you like to see come in?
Jude Bellingham, definitely 100% Jude Bellingham. I've never been one to be fussy about players unless they are really, really good. You know, if you look at statistics between the best player in the world and the worst professional football player in the world, uh, the difference is just about 30%. The statistics show that there's only a 30% difference. So whoever plays in a club, but I'll tell you who I like to be sold to leave the club. I would like to see Matip go. I would like to see Jordan Henderson sold. I would like to see Keita go. And I think we can easily bring in better players than these
Yeah, of
because
course. Yeah, of course. Go
we
on.
need a standby. We need definitely another standby at right back or another standby for Van Dijk. So he's aging too. So we need someone really, really good to play at central midfield. I think we've got enough strikers for the moment, but it's midfield that I'm worried about. And we were looking at Jude Bellingham because he's one player that brings in the quality. He's a distributor. He holds the ball very well. He's an attacking player. He's a good defensive player. He's got all the stamina in the world. So you're talking about, you can say that, well, we can get three players for the price of one. But I'm telling you, you can get one player who has the quality of three players.
Well, okay. Put that aside. Let's say we've got Jude Bellingham. We bought him last season,
Right.
and there's still problems in midfield. Who
Oh,
would
and I
you like to
think
see? Who would
goalkeeper.
you like to see brought in to play alongside him if we had Jude Bellingham?
Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Okay, okay. So that leaves, and we've got that Batatic. Remember, we've got Batatic.
Yes.
So we still need another midfielder. Who would you like to see brought in?
Uh, Someone from within, like Curtis Jones.
I don't. He has a good. I've seen him play two very good games.
Right.
One against a very poor Leeds side the other night, played well, and the other one was a couple of seasons ago against Porto.
Right.
when we beat them, I think it was 5-1 or 6-1, something like that. Anyway, we beat them, and it was a great score. And he was absolutely brilliant. But that's it. They're the only two good games, and he scores a fantastic goal against Everton in the cup. You remember? It was a
Yeah.
wonder goal. But they're the only things that stands out for Curtis, and he plays well the other night, but against a very poor side. And it's putting a, and this is where it's got me frightened. He put Trent there, and everyone's raving about Trent now. Yeah. And he's
Yeah.
put, and you just mentioned it actually, Curtis Jones. So he's put Curtis Jones there. So there could only be money for one midfielder to come in because
Right.
now he's relying on them.
Yeah.
And isn't it strange how? Isn't it strange how all of a sudden he's selling young Cavallo?
Ah, that is that is beyond me, Frank. I mean, that is ridiculous.
I think it's to make money
Yes,
so that they could buy.
that is ridiculous, Frank. I mean, Jurgen was heaping praise on Cavallo when he came in. Even before he came in, Klopp was saying how fantastic a player he was going to be, and then
Yeah,
suddenly, out of the blue, he's being sold,
yeah,
and that's
yeah.
ridiculous. I mean, for Klopp to even keep quiet about that, I don't think that's right.
No, no,
Because
he's on his way.
yeah,
And
because
I
if you
think,
remember, Frank, the problem, as I said, is that we need a larger pool of players. It's not exactly about who's good and besides Jude Bellingham and putting Trent in the middle and finding another centre back, finding a new goalkeeper. And I'm shocked also that Keller is going because I think he's a fantastic goalkeeper. But I think it's more about getting a larger squad of quality players, not just quantity, but quality players. We
I'm
need
bringing
players.
in, I'm bringing in another guest. I'm sorry to interrupt you there. I'm bringing in another guest all the way from Seattle in the USA. There he is. He's a good friend of mine, actually. And it's this man, Brian Fennell. Hi, Brian.
Hi, how you doing? Hello.
Hi, Brian.
From
Hi.
Brian.
Hi, hello.
Okay. We're just saying about, Cavallo. I don't know whether you listen to it being sold. Has it come as a surprise to you? It came as a surprise to me and also to James, Brian. What do you think?
Oh, so he was sold. I knew he was talking about leaving, but
Yeah.
they actually
Yeah.
sold him. Okay.
And I just said, I don't know whether you listened, I think he's being sold along with other,
Oh,
to bring money in, to generate money to buy.
oh yes.
I
Um,
think that.
I think it's good for him. I question why he was bought in the first place if Klopp had no intention of using him. Um, but we can get to that later. But he looked pretty good. He looked impressive. Just um, I don't know. It just speaks to our player recruitment and speaks to who knows what's going on.
But don't you
Well,
think, Brian? But don't you think, everyone says, oh, well, what great businessmen these owners are. And it's like us buying something, me and you and Jay, three of us, and we'll say, we'll buy that for ourselves, but let's buy this one as well. And we can sell that next year to try and bring money in that we paid for these others, but we make a profit on it. And I think that. I think they bought them because the way other teams after them, if you
yeah,
remember, they wanted them. So no matter what, they're going to sell them. They're going to make a big, vast profit on them because they only got them for like 7 million or something like
yeah.
that. It's daft. So they're going to get 25 to 30 million for them, no matter what. They're going to, and that's a big, hefty uh, slice of profit.
Okay, yeah, okay. That's a good business decision, I guess. You buy something for what 7 million and sell for 25, 30. Okay, good. But we don't have that luxury yet, or don't have that luxury where there's too many needs in the
Yeah.
first squad for them to play games like that.
Yeah.
If you'd done more in this, okay, let's play it out. I heard a bit earlier. Okay, say we had Bellingham and a Bellingham and another midfielder, a Bellingham and another player, and we decided, hey, he's available for 7. Go get
Yeah.
him. Great. But essentially, the last summer, all we did was we bought Nunez and Gakpo decided to get him when things went pear shaped near the winter. So no, I still don't get the move, but okay, it's what's done's done. So they'll sell him, make profit on it, and I hope they put it back into the summer.
Okay, let's go.
Right.
Let's go down with a few of these comments, and then you can talk about it.
Sure.
We've got to do something in a moment, you see. So, Soulboy Francis, I think we might go for a fast, mobile centre back rather than a right back, so Trent can do his thing. I think that's from Soulboy Francis. I think that's a very good one. Yeah, and I'm going to go down a little. And Brian McGivern says, lads, I think Fabinho is only good enough for the bench now. And that's what he says. So by France says, we need a defensive midfielder if we're going to get Bellingham. Fabinho is too slow now. And Neil Broderick, Frank, everybody knows we're a sell to buy club. I'm convinced Fabinho will be gone in the summer. And let's show the last two before we start talking. Great to see you there, Brian, mate. Shocking news about Cavello, right? That's what Brian says. Brian Headley, that is. And Charlie, Cavello has scored 3 goals and has hardly played. Absolutely. So what do you think about this, what the lads are saying there? And about Fabinho as well. He's too slow. And like Neil Broderick says, he's convinced that he's going to be sold. What do you think, lads? What do you lads think? I'm sorry.
Go ahead, James.
Fabinho was purchased. He was procured because Liverpool were playing an attacking game, gegenpress, and he was brought in to play an attacking game. And then they shifted him to move. They moved him to play in a role where he had to hold the ball. He had to be a defensive midfielder. So that's why you're looking at him as being a slow player, and he's too slow to move because that's what he's being asked to do. That's my take on Fabinho. I think he's still a good player. It all depends, whoever we bring in, it depends on the kind of strategy we are going to go for, whether we are going to go back to gegenpress. I think not. I don't think Pep Linders knows how to play attacking football like Buvek does.
Agree.
So, yeah, I think they will sell Fabinho because they want a proper holding midfielder.
I agree with what you said about Fabinho, but things for me, I'd hold on to him for another year. I know he's slow, he's this, but you know what? We need numbers, and we know for a short spell he can fill defensive mid. He can play a little farther up, play the 6 if we need him to. I would hold on to him just because of experience, and we won titles with him, so he has that championship mentality. But yeah, he's slow, and you're right. He did play in a different system in Monaco. I think it was more of a 4-2-3-1. So he's like the second. He's a second double pivot. So ask him to play all the way back. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think what may happen is if we, and I'd keep it for another reason too. If say we get who's coming this summer, there've been so many names bandied about. I think Trent will be moved to a mid position. I think he'll either play behind in a 4-3-3. He'll play last man back, similar to what the Nuri Sahin or the Pirlo role. I mean, let's face it. They weren't exactly the greatest defenders in the world, but they could distribute the ball around, and that'll be his role, just to sit between the two engines in mid, the 6 and the 8, and then he'll just redistribute up front or distribute wherever. So I think that's what's going to happen. So whoever they get, be it McAllister or to be named later, I think Trent will play that last mid back, or he may play in front of the modified 4-2-3-1. So
Yes.
I think we're going to just get the two, but that's why I'd keep Fabinho in case things go well. They need to make adjustments. He can play all three positions.
And if we are getting numbers, I think we should keep Cavallo too, and let him develop his experience at Liverpool. What you said about Fabinho, and remember Trent Alexander-Arnold, he didn't start his career as a right back too. He was also an attacking midfielder, so it's going to be right to put him in midfield. So we are seeing players being played out of position, and that's where injuries actually occur.
Yes.
Because it's just that they have been playing in one position for so long, and then they are being forced and cornered to play in another position, and that taxes the body a lot.
Oh, it does. It does.
Say hello.
Hi. Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi.
Ian.
All right, thanks. You all right? Getting used to being in a different room.
Yeah, I like the room, Frank. What's this? Who's your interior person?
Well, anyway, lads, James, Ian.
Hi, James. You all right?
Hi. How are you?
Not bad, mate. Not bad.
Cheers.
Big lad like ourselves, and we're just going through, Ian, about Cavallo. And someone asked James who would they like to bring in. James has been talking about who he'd like to see and who he'd like to go.
Yeah.
As well to see go.
Well, it's a bit of a shocker, isn't it? That one. Carvalho's supposed to be.
This is they're selling them, and we were just discussing there that I think they bought him, put him out sometimes during the season, to sell him on because they got him that cheap.
Do you think? Whose idea was it that? Well, where did the news come from? Where's everyone seen this news? Because I never actually seen any official news that Liverpool put him up for sale.
No, dude, all these, podcasts that he's going, and what would you like to see?
Well, maybe if don't know what you've just been speaking about, but maybe with the slight change in the system and that with Trent and stuff like that, and maybe Jürgen's maybe he's been told he's got so much to spend and he'll have to bring in other money from other avenues himself.
Absolutely.
And he's thought he's quite, we might get a good profit on him, and also, is he going to fit into the system that they're about to unleash?
No, okay. I asked. Who would you like to see brought in? We need at least 3 minimum, don't we? 3.
As I say, mate, well, we're all just pulling off names and repeating names that we've already heard. They could just go out and buy someone we've never heard of. And you look at the Liverpool, the team Klopp built. Robertson. If you just said the same question, who do you want at left back? Not one person would have said Andy Robertson. And then he comes in from Hull, and he's a legend. So to just reel off the names that we know we've already heard, like Mount, Bellingham, these same names. That lad that's at Bayern, can't pronounce his name.
Yeah.
He's come into it. And what
Gravenberch, is it? Gravenberch.
Something like that.
Gravenberch, yes.
Basically we're getting fed these names, or maybe there's link, there is truth in the links, but then we just repeat them in these things, don't we? And go, oh well, I'd have him. I've never seen that. I can't remember.
I'm going to make it. He's just finished work, and I'm going to make him a cup of tea. You want a cup of tea, don't you?
Oh yes, please.
And he has, he's just come in now from work, so I'm just going to make him a cup of tea. Now, do me a favour.
No chocolate biscuits.
What's he like? I've got one there, you can have. Right, so I just want you to do me a favour, right? Do you see there, like that?
Yeah, I want to use one of them.
Do you? Well, and keep going. Just answer the lads are there. Look, they're all there. Just answer these questions,
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, go and put the kettle on.
They will be looking to swap a deal of some sort with Wolves regarding Nunes, says Brian Edley.
Yeah, Nunes is another one, isn't he? That's been.
Just read them out. Is that okay?
Snapey Golf, Snape BT21. That's a long name, isn't it? Buying Bellingham is putting all our eggs in one proverbial basket. Think of buying, say, 3 pairs of shoes and spreading the wear over 2 or 3 pairs, expecting one pair to last as long as 3 is unfair.
Mm.
What do you think about that? I'm like, to be honest, I'm like, I'm sick of hearing about Bellingham. Like, don't know about you two, but I can't believe that we've chased the lad for 2 or 3 years and then just let it, disappear like that. I think something's going on. I don't know what, but I don't know. What do you think? Right?
It's just that I think they are not. Well, FSG, as I said in the previous show, they are the wrong business model to own a sports club or a football club, and they are not looking to develop the football club. They are looking to maintain the football team and to develop the share value of the football club. They're not interested in anything. When they talk about sustainability,
That's it.
they're talking about their business, not about football. When it comes to football, all they want to do is to maintain
Exactly.
the team.
But yeah. So I don't know. I'm like, I'm not on the wall on the fence with FSG. I'm definitely not on the fence with their model of, I don't think they've backed Klopp at all. Whatever we've done, whatever success we've had is down to Jurgen Klopp. There's no doubt about that. They brought him in, hands up for that one. I just don't. It's not sustainable to carry on trying to compete with the cities of this world.
Exactly.
With that model, but my problem is that I don't want. I think Frank and a few others want like this. Anyone, not anyone, but people. They wouldn't if we had cities owners. A lot of people would be very happy about that. Me, I'm like, I can't see it myself. I just don't want that sort of thing for us. I think, but where do we go from there? If someone said to me, "Okay, would you settle for relegation then, rather than have that type of owner?" I think football's done on that sense. In that sense, it's like it's very frustrating what's going on at the moment.
Why does everyone think that only the Arabs are the rich people?
Sorry, what was that?
Why does everyone think that only the Arabs are rich? That they are the only wealthy ones in the world?
No, it could be anyone. Couldn't it? I mean, look, when we had the ties were looking
right
to be involved. He ended up in jail, didn't he? It was, it could be anyone. I think where there's money, there's corruption, and that's the problem. So in this day and age, the teams that are being the owners of these clubs now, they're all corrupt, aren't they, in one way or another. Obviously, even FSG, where did they get money from? Saudi.
Okay, here's my thing though. Just jumping about. Okay, you're talking about the. Yes, we assume that all the only Arabs are rich. There are other nationalities with billionaires and so on. But to go back to this ownership, they have not backed Klopp. They never backed Brendan Rodgers. They've not backed anyone. It's as if they've said, okay, here's a flat budget. Here's all we want to spend. The rest of it is you sell to buy and do whatever. And regardless of our position, just maintain top 4 and keep the revenue, keep the turnstiles going, and keep the merchandise sales, maintain those, and the rest of it is whatever. Because again, we've gone over this a few times on Frank's show. Okay, first time we qualify for. I mean, granted, there is still some financial matters then, but the first thing we do, we sign, we qualify for for Champions League. You buy Ricky Lambert. That's the first statement, first purchase out of the gates. Then back then we had midfielders playing center back and putting burden on the players because of thin squads. Emre Can playing center back heroically for us for a while to try and qualify for top 4. You had Victor Moses playing left back, Stuart Downing playing left back. You have all these players playing on a position because what it boils down to is thin squads.
And
we
Victor
got
Moses
28 finally. We were finals in the Champions League. After losing the Champions League, and again there was no. We needed center backs, and there was no center back purchase, and it cost us the title.
Yeah.
We win the title finally. I'm just fast forwarding. We win the title in 2019, 2020, and the first purchase is Sepp van den Berg when we needed other reinforcements. And again, there's no interest in the sport itself. It's just just a financial asset, and that's what I want from an owner. Someone who has a passion or an interest in the club, or someone that likes it. So the same interest, not saying the same interest as us. We're I guess we call them fanatics or supporters, but someone with an interest in the sport. I don't care.
They're never there, are they? You don't see John Henry at Anfield now, do you?
No, he wouldn't dare show his face. No, he knows.
No, they just wanted to get there. They were coming at first because they wanted the fans on side, and now the true colours are they don't. They're not really interested.
No,
but as I say,
I don't think he'd show his face at all. No,
what's the alternative? You know what I mean? And that's my issue.
The alternative is you don't have to spend a king's ransom. You don't have to get into an arms race with the cities, the PSGs, and say Real Madrids in the world. No, so again, you follow the Benfica, the Rennes, and the Monaco model. Okay, well, you're looking for a player. You put it all in scouting and development. You send to four corners of the world, and you find some player who can fit this system or whatever. And you get them early and get them quickly.
Precisely.
And then you can sell them on later if you want to. And this has been sort of a half-ass effort by this club to do a little of both. Well, we'll go scratch and dent shopping for this. We'll spend this much for that, and sell on. And hey, if we get top four, great. The burden is on the first 14 players on the squad and the manager to sort of work who knows what sort of alchemy or sorcery to get us there. What?
We have the signs for it. Sabermetrics. We were using it very well.
Well, what do you think of this, lads, from Neil Broderick? Diaz will probably be sold also.
I think so. I think he's surplus there.
Well, there's someone surplus, isn't it, to requirements in that front line. Do you think that they should keep Bobby, by the way? I don't know whether you've mentioned that.
Did someone say to me? Dad said to me before. Thanks for asking about me dad, by the way. Who's that saying? How's your dad? It's Kayla, but it's
Brian.
Brian, yeah.
Brian there.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. He's a lot better, thanks, mate. But he said to me before, is the talk about Bobby signing a new contract now? Is that right?
I don't know.
I thought that's what you were going to say.
No, I'm just saying.
Changed his mind. I thought, no, I haven't heard that. I said, I haven't heard that, Dad. And when I looked for any news on it, and I couldn't see any.
No, I haven't.
But do you know what? I'd keep him all day. We can't have enough talent on the bench, can we? And imagine him on the bench, and Gakpo's improving. Nunes is improving, hopefully. Well, he is.
Well, as James said before, when we first kicked off, we're in, we don't need any forwards. We've got the supply of forwards to last a few years now. All we've got to concentrate on now is a centre back, but midfield is the problem. And if we fix the midfield, and I said with 3 minimum midfielders, and they've all got to be top class. Now we're heavily linked with Mason Mount and McAllister.
Yeah.
And this lad named Thuram.
The Bayern lad.
Yeah.
None of us can say his name.
Gravenberch. What's his name, Brian? Gravenberch. This is supposed to be serious.
Basically, we are selling quality players to bring in quality players.
But you think that's wrong?
Say again?
A Skoda for a Skoda, essentially. We forget the
Yeah,
Ferrari.
that's right.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah, we get Skodas instead of the Ferraris. We're selling Ferraris and bring in the likes of, say like, I'm not saying a second-hand makes, but a decent makes, a cheaper version of a Mercedes. That's what
I can't see us selling Diaz. No chance.
Yeah.
No way.
Well, fair enough, they're selling Cavallo and Kelleher. And then if Diaz goes, then I don't see the point. I mean, we are playing musical chairs then.
No, we're not selling Diaz. I can't do that.
Well, so both Francis. If we don't get investment, we need to
happening.
sell to get players in. Kaiser Chamberlain. Well, Kaiser and Chamberlain, we won't get anything for because they're on a free anyway, Soulboy. And Cavallo won't bring in much. That's what he says. I think this is a good point by Stephen Snape. But theoretically, Trent in midfield might mean we don't need as many midfielders as we think.
Also, Gakpo,
like Ian says, it's pure conjecture at this moment.
I think you can already see the shoots of it with obviously what's happened with Trent lately, but also with Gakpo as well.
Yeah, with the Bobby Firmino role.
And then because how's he fit Gakpo and Nunes? I mean, Nunes isn't a left side player; he's a centre forward, and we, that's. But saying that, Klopp changes these players. He's done it with Mane. He's done it with Mo. He's done it with every. He's done it with loads.
Do you think Cavallo was brought in because Jurgen Klopp he thought that they were going to buy Jude Bellingham, and he thought that Cavallo would be a good understudy, a good partner for Bellingham?
That what you're saying there, that could be bang on that, because I mean, do you remember Rafa with
Alonso?
With Keane and
Keane.
Bought him in the August, sold him in the January.
But he wanted what's the name to play with him, didn't he? Rafa was selling Alonso because he wanted to bring Barry and Robbie Keane in. And in the end, the owners at the time said you can only have one. And I think they practically went behind his back and brought Keane in. But he didn't want one without the other, because the system he was going to play, he wanted Gareth Barry to feed Keane, something like that. So that's why Keane never lasted. So maybe it's the same sort of situation with, what, as you say there, you know what I mean, with Carvalho and Bellingham.
Which is why the season didn't go as well as planned.
No, I don't think he knew.
Who's he talking about this?
Brian Edley says, lads, he has only 4 goals and 4 assists all season. He's talking about Bellingham here.
Oh.
Are you aware of that, boys? 4 assists and 4 goals. Bellingham all season at 27 games.
Yeah, that's normal.
But he's not a goal scorer. I mean, he scored an occasional score, but he added stability to the midfield. That's where they bought him.
Yeah. I don't think it's all about that with Bellingham, is it? It's about, that's where you.
Well, I think that's our downfall, actually, because how many goals has our midfield? How many goals has they scored all season? Our midfield, I think it's something silly, like 6 or 7 or whatever.
But again, that in the old system, I'm still calling it the old system now already. But that wasn't there. You got the odd one from Genie, didn't you?
Yeah, Genie. Yeah.
But Henderson never really scored many. No. But I mean, actually, our goals were coming from the front three where the Trent and Robertson was applying them. You'd expect you'd expect Trent to score more from midfield, wouldn't you? I suppose, and get more. Well, not more assists because he was doing well enough from the position he was already in.
Well, he doesn't have to score. Trent doesn't. Really. He's a distributor. He needs to find the passing lanes or find the open player. That's all he needs to do. That's 26 assists. That's good enough as a goal. So, yeah.
You've seen the ball.
That's all he's there for. That's it.
That was a brilliant ball, wasn't it? That was an absolute brilliant ball. And the ball he played for Nunes as well.
Yeah.
That was unbelievable.
I mean, what he's doing, and obviously, I think he's picked it up over the last few days. What people are saying, and he's not just he's not just playing centre mids, is he? Because someone made the point. Because in centre mid, you've got to twist and turn, haven't you? He's coming in from deeper into space, and his awareness, he's going to find them balls, and that's like, I think. But it's easy. Any of us were managers, we'd be probably saying, put him in the centre of the midfield. No, and that's where Klopp's at his best, isn't it? Because he's thinking, no, that wouldn't work, but something else might. And it looks like he might have sussed it.
Yeah, I'd say keep him deep where he's playing right now. Again, just get two solid engines ahead of him, and let him just dish and distribute.
He could be on the edge of the box in no time.
Mm-hmm.
He could be the perfect box-to-box player, couldn't he? You know what I mean?
No, you're right. And his range of passing is incredible.
Yeah.
And his stamina is incredible. And he hardly ever gets injured. And that's what we need in midfield.
Do you know what me think would be about that is they'll end up having to man mark him.
Yeah.
But then that leaves space. But then it's whether the intelligence is there behind, in front of them, then to use that, but then for the others to use that space.
Well, that's Soulboy Frank says. Frank says Trent is not going to be an out-and-out midfielder. He is better in this role now, where he can drift. And that's right. I think that's a cracker, though.
Yeah.
And Brian McGivern...
Just to jump real quick.
Brian Edley says, they'll probably come back with Thomas Gravison, ex-Everton, never mind Gravenberch.
I'm just going to call him Gravenberch. We were calling him Baggett.
Yeah, Gravison is alone on the last day. Yeah.
It was too hard to pronounce his name.
My name is easy to pronounce, and I get called some names, to be honest, and it's not Carlyle. You know what I mean?
Better not go there.
No, won't go there again. Gapco can play in midfield, says Charlie Woods. So there's another midfielder.
Yeah.
Well, you can play a front three and then Gapco behind him, and he's practically a midfielder then, isn't he?
No, I don't know what's happened here. The Steve Evans, Man U, bum. He must have gone out.
They were losing 1-0.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
It still is, I think.
Yeah. Good thing now with Clancy, he'll have many a shot from outside the box as well, says Brian Edley. Absolutely. I think that's a good shout there, because we've got no one at all from outside the box. There are some good kids coming through. I think we will be relying on them again next season. Who do you think of the good kids? I'm gonna be controversial here. I don't think Elliot, for the level we need, is not that.
I think Elliot's past that stage of being a kid, and he's like,
he's not.
But I think he's
not a kid anymore.
He's got a bit of experience now, and if we've got him on the bench as well, again, it's a strong. It's a strong bench if the likes of him. He's on it with Bobby.
Every time we are selling a player off, every time a player is going to be sold to buy another player, the sad thing is that we are blaming the players, saying that they are the ones who want to leave. They are the ones who's asking to leave and to find a new club. And I disagree. I do not think any of the players would want to leave Liverpool if they had a choice.
I think Sadio did. He just wanted a new challenge.
Sadio Mane, yeah, he did say he wanted to go to Munich, but other than that, when you talk about players, if you look at every player that's going out, it's always about the player saying he wants more playing time, he wants a new club. The blame goes to the player, and that's not fair.
There's always a lot of spin, isn't it? The Wijnaldum thing, that was a lot of spin. Wijnaldum would have stayed, definitely. And he wasn't asking for the wages that Paris gave him. He was just asking for a better deal than what he was offered.
That's right.
And he must have felt undervalued.
I don't get any.
Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But Charlie Wood says there, you know that Gordon
So is
kid.
Jota going still?
Oh, yeah. Cayley Gordon.
Yeah.
Is it Cayley? Yeah.
Looked good before he was injured, but look, when we get injured, our kids, look at that Ramsey lad. You know, he's been out all season.
I think he's back now. Is he back now?
Well, what's the use of being back now? I don't know whether he is back.
If he is,
And the likes of that young Gordon lads, you know, he got injured, and look how long he's out for. It's just pathetic. And really, it's annoying. It's frustrating.
Ben Doak's a good player, isn't he? Definitely.
Ben Doak's a brilliant player.
Yeah.
I think he's the best of the bunch, as you know,
like,
for potential.
There is a few good kids if you watch the 21s and that.
Yeah.
There is some good talent in there. It's what becomes of them, really, isn't it?
But what you think of, you're talking about Cavallo. What you think of the likes of Curtis Jones saying, don't forget, only a week or two ago, sell him. He's not good enough. He's been up the hill and he can't. So now all of a sudden they're all saying, "Oh, let's keep him. He's brilliant." And he plays well against Leeds.
Yeah.
Leeds is awful. I could play well against them, and I can't believe
credit to him for that. But if you're asking me if there's anyone we could sell, then I think if we've got to sell to bring money in, then I know he's a scouser and that, but I think he'd be one on the top of my list, to be honest. I don't think he's progressed that much or quickly enough. He's a decent player, and there's a good player in there, but is he what we need? Not really. He's there because he's a scouser, and because he was brought through the ranks. We wouldn't go out and buy him, would we?
All right. Well, there's what Brian Headley says. Free roll for Trent and give him the armband, and he will never look back. He will be a machine. Trent's a brilliant player,
Yeah.
No matter what. He's a scout, and I said that at the beginning.
Basically, build a team around him.
Yeah, build a team around him. And Soulboy Fran actually says, which is another very good point, has Jones gone ahead of Elliott in the team, or is Klopp putting him in the shop window? That's a good shout, though.
I think what Klopp does, he sort of it'll be. I think it will be to an extent, but I think he's like, he'll batter a player, won't he? Then rest him. He'll batter him, and then just like Elliott was playing every game, and now he's just disappeared, hasn't he? Do you know what I mean? And I think he just gets out of him what he can, and then he thinks, right, that's it. No, that's you.
Yeah.
That's you done.
Yeah.
I think Jurgen Klopp was preparing this season with the players. He's got Gakpo and Nunes, and he was planning everything around, expecting Jude Bellingham to come in. And now that he's not coming in, then he's got to change and sell players to fit a new strategy without Bellingham. So those players that he's bought, they are redundant now.
I'm hoping the problem isn't that big, really, but because that would be a bit. If he's built, if he's had ideas to build a team around Bellingham, that's even worse. It's worse a situation than we thought it was.
Well, Stephen Snake says there's a kid called Musalevsky in the under-21s. Kid's a machine. Musalevsky. I've never seen him because I don't watch. I
have seen him.
Have I pronounced the name right? Musalevsky.
It's about as good as I'd get it.
See these names coming out so wrong.
Taking he's Polish.
Yeah, and right behind him is and Brian Headley. Seen that Snapey, the Polish kid. So he is Polish. He is Polish. Go ahead.
Sorry, lads.
Go ahead.
Well, I'll take your word for that. I've not seen this Polish guy play, but he was in the under 21s, and you're going to throw him in next season to. There's a problem. We're blooding these kids early. We threw Badgetich in a little early. He's done well. He's done great, but we put the hopes and dreams of the season on his shoulders to help us earlier on until he got injured. This Polish kid is the next thing coming. We still go get midfielders and then bring them along slowly, play them in lower cups, play him in some other matches to let him develop instead of throwing him to the wolves. Say, okay, all right, go win some matches because we need you. So I don't know. That's just my thoughts on that.
Yeah, Brian, you're right. When Jurgen Klopp first came on board, I think that was 2015, and he was asked what he thought about Liverpool players being sent out on loans.
Yeah.
And his exact words were that I do not see why we need to loan our players out to get the very experience we could give them, especially when we have a particular football philosophy.
Yes.
And now we are
I remember that, yes.
Yeah, and we are either loaning the players out or we are selling them, and that's totally not right. Again, it should be highlighted that the problem we have is the size of a squad or the size of a pool of players, quality players that we need when players go injured halfway through the season. That is what you need to sustain.
Yeah.
That's lack of depth.
Right.
They're thin squads, yeah. And that's something that's plagued it. What was it stat earlier this year about what is it? Wait, Trent, as a matter of fact, has played 52 more matches in the last 3 years than any other right back in the league.
Precisely, yeah.
52. And then you add that across the board, the front three. Before Mane left, they played was it essentially 6.5 seasons in the last 5.
Right.
Well,
so I mean there's your problem. That's where most of the injuries come from, and they're also playing that high octane, that pressing game of Klopp's. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's where they.
But as I said, Brian, before you came,
it's very simple. Get more quality depth.
But as you're saying there, Brian, before you came on, I was actually talking about the neglect of midfield. And within 4 years, we've only brought one midfielder in, and that was Thiago. And he was aged then. He was 29 then. Yeah. And we needed someone around the 22, 23, even the 25 or 26 age, to give us more steel, more pressing, more legs, more energy. And I could see it, Wayne, and I've mentioned it to you, Brian. I've mentioned it to you in the past, Ian. You get lambasted. You get lambasted. And I mentioned about investment today on someone's post. And the next performance is, I trust Jurgen. I said, I never mentioned Klopp. I'm mentioning the owners about investment. So they try to make excuses. These people who back, because it's an old cliche, it's become an old cliche. Look what they've done for us. They saved us. Look at the stands and look at this and look at that. Without saying, they don't give you the full thing about investment.
They could have done what they've done and invested in the team a lot more.
Of course.
They could have.
Every season, Paisley bought 2 players in. Every season. And he could have done it from 2 seasons ago, bringing one midfielder in, because that was the neglect.
That's been the big issue, hasn't it? It's been the fact that since they let Gini go, they brought Thiago, and they haven't brought any other.
No.
They've just relied on Milner and Henderson and
who were finished.
And Keita.
Who were finished. And I'm not afraid to say Henderson is finished.
I think he's got a good 5 years left in him. Yeah.
And Milner, another extension.
In the MLS? Yeah.
Another extension, God blimey, he's as old as Moses.
I seen a picture a few weeks ago with Stanley Matthews with a young, oh God, what was his name? One of the England World Cup winners, the toothless lad.
Oh, the Nobby Styles?
Yeah, I think it was Nobby Styles, yeah.
Yeah, we'll be up there.
Stanley Matthews was 50 at the time. I said he was the original James Milner in money, Stanley. You can still see Milner here when he's like 50, can't you? That's all.
I think a bit old. To be honest. Stanley Matthews, a bit older.
They're going to raise the retirement age at Liverpool.
Right.
Yeah.
Milner's lads will be stuck next to him. both in Liverpool shirts.
And as Charlie would say, keep Jones. We can pronounce his name.
Yeah.
No, he needs to go. Jones should go. So is Jota going or is he staying?
I do feel like, I mean, Charlie says there, Jones loses confidence when he gets near the goal. I think he plays within himself. I don't know what he's told. He must be told to do what he does. But you do feel like he's got more in his locker that he doesn't show. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
Much like Trent in a lot of ways. But Trent's allowed to express himself. I'm not trying to say he's good as Trent. But
No.
if you said to him, like, go on, lad, just play, do your thing. But he seems to like do something, and then he'll stop and he'll give it to someone, and he'll few twists and turns, and you think just go for it, because you've got it. You know what I mean? But I don't know.
Right, lads. If we don't get any money, any midfielders, who would you play in midfield? Start with Trent. Not sure about the others. That's what Brian Edley says. So if you don't get any, this is it's just being hypothetical, obviously. Who would you start with now? Yeah,
from what
today.
we've got now.
I'll go to Brian first. Say like we don't get any midfielders. You'd have Trent now in midfield. Who would you? And Batatic. I think you'd have to say Batatic.
Yeah, I'd go. Well, if we don't get any midfielders, then we're sunk for next year. But but playing along, I would say definitely Batatic. Then I would go. I have to say, unfortunately, Fabinho, or Fabinho at the other mid than Trent.
Yeah.
I mean, because Henderson he's done. He's done.
He's done, isn't he? He's done.
Milner's done.
We'll all agree with that. Go on.
Here's an interesting one. I play Costa Tsimikas as right back.
Okay. No, that's
Yep.
Well, we'll come to you in a minute, James. Who would you play? Suppose like this is next season and we've got no midfielders. Who would you play?
If we're talking about Trent in midfield now, he's still not down as one of the three midfielders, is he?
No.
So you could have Trent playing the role he's playing now with Thiago, Fabinho, and Baggett, should I say.
Badger. Young Badger, lad. Who would you say, James?
I'm with Brian. I'm going for Fabinho in attacking midfielder, with Trent holding midfielder, and then I'll use Diaz.
Oh, Diaz.
Yeah, it's interesting. Okay.
It's interesting, isn't it? It really is. And Gapco, as someone mentioned there before, he can play in midfield. But we've got to get away from the hypothetical theories, really. And we've got to go for reality. Because even with those in midfield, we wouldn't win I don't think we'd do anything, I'm being honest. I really don't think we'd do anything. We need, a minimum this time around of three midfielders. Three middies. All top class, by the way. Every one of them has to be top class. And as I said before, we've got a forward line that could be the envy of the whole of the Premiership. The whole of Europe, never mind the Premiership, the whole of Europe. They're all young, they're all... Mo Salah, he can go on forever, that lad, in my opinion. He can go on forever. So we've got an abundance of forward. And even the Canetta, the back four, if we bring in a right back, and I mean a solid right back, if we're going to leave Trent in midfield, and we've got Konate, we've got Virgil, and bring in another centre back, I think it would be phenomenal. I really do, along with the new midfielders.
I would go with another one. I'd go with another forward. I I know I love Randall Colomwani. He's going to cost like 60-some million, but if given the opportunity to get him, I would get him because he's a goal scorer and he can play. He can rest Salah on the right side, even though he plays center, but he can play right attacker. We need more goal scoring. It's consistent goal scoring threats, either off the bench or up front.
What about that lad from Napoli? I can't pronounce his right winger. I can't pronounce his. Is he left or right? He was brilliant against us, and I was watching him last night against AC. He's absolutely brilliant, brilliant.
See, I think what we've got to do as well, looking forward again.
I think he's a Slovakian. Slovakian he is. Go on,
not that slowly. He's a quick vacuum.
Come on.
I think looking forwards, I think we've got to think about how to replace Salah's goals eventually, haven't we? Because Salah is still the main goal scorer, isn't he?
Well, so I wouldn't replace him. You've got to have him. You've got to have him.
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying
you can't sell him.
2 or 3 years down the line, whatever we do with the team, you've got to have. Brown saying there about you've got to have someone who's going to be putting the ball in the back of the net.
Oh yeah.
And hopefully that's going to be Nunes then, and Gakpo as well, and Diaz. But it remains to be seen whether they start it in the heights that the goal scoring yards like.
Well, this is it, isn't it?
All the goals have got to come from somewhere else.
All the goals have to come somewhere. Yeah. So I think that was a good shout there. I really do.
However, the problem is going to happen again in another 4 years.
Well, there's not to panic anyway, because Charlie Wood says Milner has another 15 seasons left.
Well, maybe we can get some goals out of him.
Before pension?
Don't need to worry there, lads. Very, very.
Do you know what? I do feel sorry for the likes of Milner. I know you're going to go. I'm a bit close to this wall. It's quite hollow.
Go on.
Sorry, the neighbours are complaining.
Go on.
But I think we need to give them a little bit of respect as well, don't we?
No, we give them respect, but we do.
Yeah.
We've never.
No, I know that. It's but
you can't keep giving him respect if he's getting picked up.
There's no sentiment in football.
There was young Carvalho sitting on the bench, and there was like 10 minutes to go, and in a game, and young Carvalho was sitting there, and he brought out Milner to do what? And he left that kid sitting, and I thought, that's wrong. That young lad's going there. Yeah. He's done something. Yeah. Unless the young lad's Carvalho, why aren't you picking me? Why aren't I getting a game? What's wrong with me?
He did something, maybe at the holiday party or something happened somewhere. I don't know what.
Must have done. Must have, because he doesn't stand any nonsense, does he, Klopp?
No.
Doesn't stand any nonsense. FSG have got away with it because we've had success, but it's all because of Klopp and nothing else, says Soulboy Fran. Absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on. Charlie Wood says, which is a good point actually, we're still putting square pegs in round holes. That's a good point. Brian Edley says, I'm really worried, lads. I can't see these owners getting us 3 midfielders. I really can't. This could get even worse. If they stick to sell to buy, it will be pointless.
I think what worries me there is that what's being leaked from the club, like the Carvalho's free to go. Does that mean we are outwardly looking to sell players here now and they're not actually going to fund anything? Yeah. Apart from the usual 25-30 million.
Exactly, and that's the net spend around there, which is absolutely dreadful.
Because FSG says that we should spend according to what we earn, but they are managing the money, what's coming to Liverpool. They are managing it, and they are diverting it to expanding the stadium. Mm-hmm. So everything's benefiting the business portfolio, but not the team on the pitch.
Yeah.
And that is very wrong.
Well, we had to get midfielders in to replace the Deadwood, says Showboy Fran. That's going out, so the Deadwood's going out, so that's it, they've gone. Salah going to play as long as Ronaldo, and I agree with him there. He's the most super fit player at Liverpool, Mo Salah. And he's got it in him, he's got it in his tank. And if we got rid of him, it's goodbye, Mr. Chip. I haven't put him off, have I? Brian. There he is.
That was
Did I put you off then? Did I?
Did you boot me from the show? Yeah.
That's it. It was him. He's got these snidey little fingers,
He's like, all right. He's off you go.
Yeah, Stephen Snake. Yeah, answer this, boys, and I'll go to you, James, first. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, leads it out.
So he says, I'd keep Salah, I'd play Gakpo deeper. He's Coutinho-esque. Look at how he runs between the lines and cuts in on his right foot to score. Diaz has a great work ethic and suits Klopp's work ethic. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I mean, you can't, I've had the thought, like, if we do need money badly for the midfield, then you'd be looking at the biggest asset would be Salah, wouldn't it? But saying that, like, with what's happened with Trent and Gakpo, looks like he can. I think that takes the onus off a little bit. But yeah, we're still. It'll be interesting to see what we actually spend come August. What we've actually spent.
Well, I didn't like what Jurgen Klopp said about being 5-year-olds or acting like 5-year-olds, demanding more money. Because you cannot call someone with Liverpool's pedigree or the prestige of the club. He's describing it as a 5-year-old, but I'm looking at it this way.
Yeah.
The football owners are the ones who are behaving like 5-year-olds because they don't have the money to cope with owning a football team in England, but they want to play a big boys game. So they're the ones who are behaving like 5-year-olds.
Exactly.
It's not Liverpool Football Club.
Yeah.
So they wake up and be realistic and say, look, time is up. We have to go. We'll make our money. Let's just be contented with what we are going to get in terms of profit, and it's going to be ample compared to the 300 million they bought the club for and sell the club. Now that's called integrity. Do they have any?
It's
otherwise they're behaving like small boys, playing in a big man's game, and that's not right. The only ones who are like 5-year-olds are FSG, and Klopp shouldn't be saying that we can't demand more money because we are not 5-year-olds. Come on, we are talking about Liverpool Football Club. We are not talking about a small club like Everton or Manchester United.
I think it's strange, a little bit strange how Klopp seems to be totally on board with them. There doesn't seem to be any agitation from him whatsoever over whatever's going on. It's almost as if it's his decision on everything rather than theirs, because he just does agree with everything they say, doesn't he? He doesn't really rock the boat like
just being a yes man.
Jurgen Klopp is being used as a public relations spokesman,
but
more
also,
than he is as a football team manager.
But also, if he wasn't happy, he could have the choice of job, any job he wanted in the world. So something doesn't add up for me, you know what I mean?
Exactly, like, something's amiss there.
He must be happy, because otherwise, imagine the jobs he could get. He could have Real Madrid. He could have, and I know we're probably we are one of the biggest jobs in world football, but he could still go. He could have the German job. There's all sorts of jobs. Bayern Munich. So if he wasn't happy,
3 million.
Because if we're getting
lag in sound here.
What was that?
Sorry?
What you say, Brian?
I mean, getting a bit of a lag. Internet bandwidth is lagging a bit, so I don't mean to interrupt you or interject.
No, it's okay.
But well, I guess now that I have, one question though. Okay, can you name me another manager of a top four club, regardless of league, if you are chasing the quad treble, X amount of cups in a single year, you come up short, and then the next window you get absolutely nothing? Would you sit there? Okay, so let me ask, what would your reaction be if you were this close? You're in the finals. You won 2 cups. You're actually in the finals or in the last day for the other 2 cups, and then your ownership gets you. Okay, here's 1 player.
Yeah.
What other manager would be okay with that?
Yeah.
Who's
exactly.
top 4? Ancelotti, Mourinho. Let's name them.
And you know, at the end of the day, the likes of this season goes on is a hit to his reputation, Klopp's reputation, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So it makes it, you know, he could if you had that, if Madrid had had a choice between Ancelotti and Klopp, they'd have taken Klopp any day. You know, and like Klopp could just sit there winning trophies with Real Madrid, champion, and you know, but he hasn't done that, has he?
You got to consider his contract. What contract? There's a non-disclosure agreement, and he may stand to lose a lot of money if he were to resign. You know, there could be many terms in his contract where that subjugates him to what FSG wants, and that has to be taken into consideration. He could be in a trap between a rock and a hard place, and he cannot maneuver himself out of this situation. But if you look at what he
it rage if you were Klopp after last season, and you would be.
Oh, it would be, yeah.
You'd be banging the table, wouldn't you? You'd say, but why is he? I don't know. You know, you can't say anything about the man because he's so.
It's just a strange one. I know what you're saying there, James. You know what I mean? It's like, but you think, how far could he let it? I mean, if we have another season next season, like we've got this, is he going to walk because his reputation, or would they even sack him because his reputation is not going to be? It's going to be dropping like a brick.
He cannot walk even if he wanted to. He's not able to walk away even if he wanted to. That's what a contract. That's what a contract can do to anyone. In a business contract, employment contract, it can happen to anyone. You can't walk, or if you walk, if you have enough money to compensate, you know,
I mean,
bonus.
Managers do walk though, don't they? You know what I mean? And they'll get offers from other clubs which will compensate for some of the money that they've lost from the club, you know, for walking in the first place rather than being sacked.
Right.
And obviously, when they're getting sacked, they're getting paid off the length of the contract, aren't they?
Yeah.
But if he walks, though, we have to reimburse. We don't know if the language is in the contract. If he walks, he has to reimburse FSG for X amount of years remaining in the contract.
Exactly.
And I know I'm sure there's a moral turpitude clause, so he can't say anything disparaging about FSG for X amount of time after he leaves. Definitely not during. Yeah. So I see that. Yeah, I see what you're saying there, James. Sense.
But it's one thing. It's one thing not saying anything bad about.
You'll advocate for your own.
It's one thing not saying anything bad about them, but it's another thing to sort, as James said, to say what he said, which seems to back them up. If anything, you'd just keep clear of that, wouldn't you? You'd just think, well, I might not be saying anything bad about you, but I don't agree with you either, so I'll just say nothing on that subject. But he hasn't. He's sort of backing them up as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
No,
I'm not sure.
You could see
I mean, they're the ones.
Remember Buvek? He walked away, and
the
he was on furlough. They said he was on a personal furlough, which meant he was coming back. They didn't reveal it. They didn't reveal the truth.
No.
So there you go. That was the first sign. Buvek. Then you have got Michael Edwards. You have got Peter Moore. and Peter Moore was a wonderful leader, and yet he walked away. I mean, why would you leave a large company, come to Liverpool, spend just 3 years here, and then go off?
Yeah.
And they said, oh, it was because he had to rejoin his wife in America.
This is why the modern day Shanks is loyal to the core. He's loyal to the core, and he is, and he's loyal to certain players. Ian, did I tell you years ago? I went in and I told you, Brian. I must have told you this. I bumped into when he first came, Klopp, and this Dortmund supporter, proper German lad who still lives in Dortmund. He's over here to see his father-in-law, and his father-in-law said, "Yeah, I'll tell him what you told me." And he's a Dortmund supporter, this lad, and he said, "You've got a great manager." He said, but he becomes too loyal to certain players, and then you just see the downtrends of the team slowly. He said, and that's why he walked away from us. He said he did the same thing against Mainz when he was with Mainz. So, there's a thing. I'll tell you another thing about, people saying, oh, he's great because he stays here. And don't get me wrong, I'm made up with him. People try to, what you say, they interpret it differently. But what I'm saying is that he does become too loyal to players, and we know those certain players. But also, he's here, and he's on millions a year. He never got that at Mainz, and he certainly didn't get it at Dortmund either. And that's one of the things why he says, well, I'm happy here, and until the time for me to go to coach the German national side, I'll just stay here and do as they tell me.
It comes down to family as well, doesn't it?
Of course it does.
Loves it here, doesn't she?
Yes, she does.
Have they had any kids born yet? I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't a clue.
So it comes down to a lot of things, don't it?
That is why John was fearful. He was afraid of Rafael Benitez. He didn't give Rafael Benitez a chance, not even an interview, because he knew who Rafael Benitez was. And Rafael Benitez would have called them out.
But what about Charlie Woods? If we don't strengthen, they will sack Klopp. That's what clubs do. I think they'd be terrified, to be honest, to sack Klopp against the fan base.
They won't sack him.
Everyone loves Klopp. Everybody loves Klopp.
Imagine if they sack Klopp, we'd be like, oh, where do we go from there?
There's nobody.
They'll do it, but they are. It'll be the usual the flying monkeys. The media has Klopp lost his edge. Has a series of stories like that.
Yeah.
And it'll be the slow, the long farewell per se. Yeah. So
it's going to be 9 years next year.
Yeah, but they'll do it. They do it in a heartbeat.
Well.
Stephen Snape, or is it Klopp's loyalty something we're perhaps not factoring in?
No, it's
I think we've covered that really, haven't we? I think we've covered. Yeah, Pep Linders. Pep Linders.
Just the difference between Bubach and Pep Linders. That's what it is.
Yeah. If he did leave, I wouldn't want to see him as our manager. Don't like that Linders at all. Do not like him.
You don't?
No, I certainly don't like him. I really don't. Don't like him. Something about him.
I like the way he dances around the cups.
Did you believe that one?
I thought that was fantastic. The way you come into the dressing room, free from desire.
If Jurgen Klopp walks, I'd love to see Julian Nagelsmann take his place.
Okay.
Who?
Nagelsmann?
Yep.
That's all. I think. Well, I don't know.
It'd be hard to follow.
And I just think let's not change anything too drastic at the moment. Know what I mean? Like,
no.
Just
No.
let's keep,
This is blasphemous, but I'd love to see company.
I think this thing of Pep's book route, I think that's well over the top. I don't think that's had anything to do with it whatsoever. I don't know where that's come from. I just think just keep it going as it is at the moment, and let's see what happens now in the summer.
Yes, of course. I mean, Klopp is going to stay, but don't forget he has to leave by 2026. He's got only like 3 years left.
Yeah,
2026. I mean, if I'm not wrong.
I think I'd like to think that Klopp's going to be planning for his own departure and talking to people about who the next manager will
I think that's well being that. I think that's being well planned, and I think it'll be in the next 2 seasons. I think he's trying to build now a team to go forward.
Yeah,
a young enough team, so someone will take over the reins. That's in my opinion.
And let's hope like he can like build this team, and it'll be a second team to go on and win a title. And that'll be true greatness.
But if he got, I'm not being funny. If he got the backing, he would have won more than one Premiership.
Well, yeah, but I mean, what I'm saying is, it took him It took him 5 years to build a title-winning side, like 4 for the Champions League.
Yeah,
because he had it in 2018.
Yeah.
He had a winner from 2015. He had it in 3 years.
3 years. So
we lost that one because of center backs. Because Gomez and Matip, who are always often injured, missed 2 years, a year in the last 3 years. And you had Lovren, who injured his knee in the World Cup. And we bought nobody. Brought nothing in. Right. And that's what cost us in 2018. But we would have had a title there.
Yeah. The same thing got injured.
Oh, yeah. And Trent got injured. Yeah.
Yeah.
Soulboy France says, I don't think Klopp would want to be like a Chelsea manager. He wanted the challenge when he came to us. Don't forget, he turned United down. And Stephen Snape says, you bang on there, Soulboy Fran. And Snapey says again, keeping Klopp's essential in the short and medium term. For all our conjecture, he gets us and loves it here. He'll go, but he'll go to manage Germany. But we've always said that.
So I have to disagree about, well, not disagree, but I have to really make it clear about why Klopp joined Liverpool. At the time when they interviewed him, they were John Henry was very much into sabermetrics, into the science of football analytics. And they showed this to him and asked him whether he could, he was interested in finding out more, and he was interested in the science when procuring players. And I think that was a good move. He wanted that. He loved the science. And it worked. It really worked for him. But after a while, they stopped buying players. They started neglecting the team. And even when the analysts were recommending players, they were not looking into, Frank, like what you said about the midfield. They're being neglectful. And I think that's why Michael Edwards walked.
Mm-hmm. Well, after they won the title, the pressure was off to do anything, really. We have our Premier League title. There's done now. And I honestly believe, and we all know that keeping a title costs more than actually attaining it. It changes it's a possession game, and the dynamics change. And I don't think FSG was built out for that. They knew they have to spend to maintain that. And I think they're perfectly content with just finishing top 4 and just coming up short. And
didn't they do the same thing with the Red Sox?
Yes, they did the same thing.
Red Sox.
And Warner did the same thing with the Padres. Yeah. So just to sit, just as long as you sell that. Well, hope springs eternal. Oh, we're close. Oh, we have a player. It could be the one. Oh, again, so close. We're just 1 or 2 players away. Rinse, repeat.
It was the same
reason this summer.
It was the same reason why he wanted Billy Bean with the Boston Red Sox. The very same reason.
Yeah.
He loved the site. He loved sabermetrics, but it wasn't about winning.
Yes.
It was because sabermetrics allowed him to, as you say, build a very good team, but not good enough to win trophies.
Yes.
Would you think that
With minimal financial expenditure.
That's right.
Well, with Liverpool winning the Prem and also the Champions League, I think he's gone like that. Okay, they've been waiting for 30 years to win this Premiership, whatever it's called. This is it, by the way. Whatever it's called, everyone's happy now. They've won the European Cup, whatever you call that as well. So just let them. And, so he thinks he's delivered everything that Liverpool craved for. Everything. And I'm talking about everything. He's won every major honour. I'm not saying him personally, but
World Club for the first time as well.
Exactly. So do you think that he's just said, well, I've given them everything? Well, what are they moaning for? They won't get rid of us, FSG, that is, won't get rid of us. And we've given them the best manager. So I think they're in that type of shield. It's a shield that they're in that, can't be penetrated to them. That's what I think. I think that, it's like if you call them for anything, it's just water off a duck's back to them.
Yeah, it's managing the expectations, isn't it?
Yes.
What you don't have to say.
One spot on. That was exactly the quote that John Henry made to Billy Bean. When he said that you've got to manage expectations and make sure that the expectations are not too high.
Well, it's also like keeping the fans on board. I mean, I think
exactly.
It's like it's all spin. It is spin. It's like keeping the fans on board.
It's big spin, washing machine. I call them the washing machine.
If you say we're after Bellingham for 2 years, you've got the fans on board.
Yeah,
right.
And then now that late, and you see the spin coming after that, whether it's part of the big plans and he still ends up here.
Look at how much of the media is controlled. Look at how much people speaking up for them, making excuses for them, and putting them in good light. The media, a lot of medias are doing it for them, thinking that he's going to buy over the media. So,
well, no, it's access. You say something disparaging about the club, will deny you access. So they're doing it for that reason to maintain, so they can get the inside scoop, air quote. But definitely, they're definitely PR savvy, and they're definitely that's their focus, PR turnstiles, and again, just in the long con, just keep it just good enough to keep selling the impossible dream, or sell the dream of titles. And well, unfortunately, Klopp screwed that up because he built a squad over the last 5 years. So then they shorted him. The what?
Was that what happened with James Pearce? Remember when Klopp got at him?
Oh yeah.
He got the wrong, didn't he?
Oh yeah. Pearce, the flying monkey, the original one. Yes, fly. Yep.
I think it was something from the Athletic that he was unhappy with, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I think he's got the wrong journal, hasn't he, and took it out on him.
Yeah. Which was sad, and James Pearce has been, ever since, been getting some stick on social media who haven't a clue. And it's wrong.
Well, and rightfully so. He carried water willingly. He was in on the heist until he got his cut of the loot, and that's when the problems came. So no, I don't feel sorry for him. No. He's willing to carry the water.
Brutal Brian.
Brutal Brian. Yeah, Brutal Brian. Brutal Brian's on next.
It is. It is what it is. No, I mean, again, you were in on it. So,
I agree.
Lads, says what Brian Edley says. If someone said to us all now, Liverpool will finish in the top 4 next year, but won't get near the league, would we be happy?
No, we've got to be challenging. We've always got to be challenging.
That's a good question, that, isn't it? But you won't get Red saying, as long as we get in the top. That's it. That's like FSG.
It should be just
as long as we get in the Champions League. That does that.
No, if you'd have said this time last year we were qualifying for the Champions League this year, you'd be thinking, see, last time we were fighting for it, it was, to me, there was like a lot of stuff around injuries and no fans in the grounds, and you know, last time we got away with it. This from that, you know, now there's no way you'd expect that the club would not be qualifying for the Champions League. So that should be a given. That's minimum requirement. And well, actually, minimum requirement to me is challenging for the title. All right, you can't guarantee winning it.
I'm just going to put a little advertisement on for a friend of ours, right? And there it is. I think it is. There, is it there? That's the same, yeah.
Yeah, you had a scarf or a badge.
And it's that scarf and badge, and you know, listen, boys, if you're all out there and you go in the game on Saturday to watch the Reds against Forest, just go to the, well, it's by the Flatiron.
By the Flatiron pub on Waltonbreck Road.
Waltonbreck Road.
Okay.
The end of Waltonbreck. And it's brilliant. Michael Dean and his wife Michelle, it's all quality stuff. Every single item is quality stuff. And we've got stuff out of there.
Yeah. I need to go. If Mick's watching, I could do with going back there.
He won't be watching. Never watches anyway. So I just want to advertise it because, you know, all these small businesses are great. They are, you know, and they really need our help. And if you're out there, you go in the game, just go to them. That scarf or badge. Great people, quality stuff. They're like my guests tonight. Absolutely brilliant. I know. So okay, let's see what Charlie Wood says. That's what happened to Arsenal. The owners were happy to finish in the top four, and he's spot on there. And this is what our owners are the same.
Yeah.
Just said it before, didn't they?
Yeah, top four. It's the money thing, isn't it? It's like you're in the Champions League.
Liverpool. This is Liverpool. FSG has disrespected Liverpool for far too long and far too much. You cannot disrespect pedigree. You cannot disrespect heritage.
No.
You just don't own a football club like Liverpool and then underperform and neglect the team. That's very disrespectful.
Yeah.
There's no honor. Right. If you want to disrespect, go buy a small team or buy Everton or buy Manchester United. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so lads, we'll all finish off on this, right? And I'm going to you first, James. Okay.
Yep.
And the same question for you as well, Brian, and the same question for you, Ian. Right. Would you still play Trent in midfield against Forest and give us your prediction? Score prediction.
Would I still play Trent in midfield against Forest?
Yes.
100%. And the score, I'm predicting a 3-1 score for Liverpool.
Okay. You, Brian?
Absolutely. Play Trent midfield. He's auditioning for that. You're building for next year. Everyone's auditioning for a role. So no, you play Trent in midfield until for every game till the rest of the season. Score? I'll say 4-1.
Oh. Okay. So would you expect Trent to play, James, for the rest of the season in midfield?
I hope he does, so that everyone can see that Trent should have been in midfield all along from the start of the season, and we would have solved a lot of problems. Okay. And I'm going to say something that may surprise you here. Do not be surprised if Trent in midfield would be as good as Jude Bellingham.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. No one will argue with that. No one will argue with that.
I think he's at something there. I think Jürgen said something along the lines of like something, you know, the way the system is now, and maybe we should have started it a lot earlier this season. But yeah, that's
the reason why, Ian. I said Jürgen started the season building a team because he expected the strategy he was building for Jude Bellingham to come in later.
Yeah.
It didn't happen. That's why he's got to sell off players who fit into that strategy, who he planned to play alongside Jude Bellingham. And now he's not getting Bellingham. He's got to sell them. There's another change of strategy again.
Well, all right, Ian, what's your about Trent and your prediction?
Yeah, I think it's a natural progression now. By the looks of it, what's going on?
The story's true about Slimani. I'd go after him then.
Carry on with Trent in midfield, and I'm going for 6-0.
Okay, that's a good score.
I think we'll have another big score on Saturday.
Okay,
we're going to be on a roll now. For Champions League.
Well, what about this? What Soulboy France say? Do you want me to give my prediction?
No. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm not giving it now. You said no.
Go ahead.
Ian, who is this?
Oh, he is. Fella just walked in. And Phil Redmond just walked in.
Yeah, they got taken for Phil Redmond once, you know.
Once?
And I was through this. It was funny. I was with John May, a friend of mine, who was having a couple of beers in Victoria Street, and there was a little party going on. I think it was someone's 21st birthday, you know, a girl's birthday. And I'm standing at the bar, and, you know, as you do, and I'm with John, and two girls come over and went, yeah. And I went, oh, hello. She said, it's my birthday. I said, is it? I said, oh, well done. I said, so they're all over there? She said, yeah. She said, hey, Phil. I said, what? She said, does Chloe get killed? And some girl's name, you know, in Hollyoaks. And I looked at her like that.
Oh, okay.
She went, yeah, Redmond's on. Yeah, I said, yeah. And she sent over some beers and sandwiches.
So you had Phil Redmond's butties?
Yeah, Phil Redmond's
funny.
Sandwiches.
One of the first times I met Frank was in the Casa. Remember that? And some girl walked over and said, I know you, don't I? Same thing. She thought he was Kenny Rogers. You weren't expecting that, were you?
Oh, that's great. Come on, Frank. Do Islands in the Stream. Come on, let's hear it.
Yeah, I'm saying no more. Anyway, Kenny Rogers.
One question, Frank, before anyone goes. I have one question.
Okay.
If they do sell Kelleher, who do you think would be a good number 2 goalkeeper?
God knows. And we need one because the other fella's injury prone, isn't he? I'm not saying it later in the season, but he does get injured.
Who's this, Adrian?
No, the other fella. No, he said if Kelleher goes, who would you get in? And I said, well, we need a second keeper because Allison, he does get injured. Yeah. And he's out for a long time as well, don't forget, when he is injured. We need to get our signings in early because the others will be strengthening, say, Soulboy Fran. What do you think of that, Brian?
Yes.
100%.
Absolutely. It's been, one of my gripes about the club for a long time. Get in, get your signings done early. So when you go to camp or take them wherever, let them enjoy a holiday, get them in early, get used to the club. But for some reason,
there's normally we get in practically straight away, isn't it?
But one's no good.
No, but what I mean, and then fight.
No, I understand that.
Yes, got the summer.
Right, we're going to go with it. What do you think? What do you think, James, about getting the lads in early? The signings, that is.
Definitely. I mean, they have to get the players in early because they need to work with the players way before the season starts.
Yeah.
But that reminds me of something Klopp said, which didn't make sense at all. And they were going to have 2 tours. One was to the Far East, which is Singapore, and the other one was to the United States to play their preseason games. And then he said he wasn't. They were going to cancel the trip to the United States and only make the trip to the Far East, which is Singapore. And that's because he didn't want the United States trip to disrupt training, preseason preparations. And I don't see how that's logical, because we are talking about traveling. It's okay to travel all the way to the Far East, but not to the United States, which is just across the Atlantic.
Yeah.
So is that another ploy by FSG to save money?
Yeah. Well, the Sean who's mentioned this actually.
Well, the both
Yes, I
field.
played Trent there, says Brian Headley. Yes, I played Trent there for the rest of the season, and the Reds 3-0. Right, and here's what and carries on by saying, I've said for ages Trent would save us a fortune for doing this, midfield. So I think that's answered your question there, or comment there, James.
Yeah.
Soulboy Fran, if Bellingham is worth 135 mil, how much is Trent? 5-0 for the game. His prediction is 5-0, says Soulboy Fran. So what do you think of that?
I still think that,
It's Forest.
very good choice in midfield, and we are still going to beat Nottingham Forest by 3-1, and we need to play in way before next season if we are going to accomplish anything. But here's my prediction. Mark my words, we are going to go for 4 trophies next season. Mark my words, 4 trophies.
Okay.
At least for Christmas.
No, I think we started the season with we going after everything. But you're right. Yeah. You're right. And Brian McGivern, lads, thanks a million. Great night. Brilliant. You never walk alone. Isn't that lovely?
Yeah.
So listen, lads. I've got to come to the end.
I noticed she didn't put the last one up.
Oh, it's still early, Frank. It's only 5:20 a.m. in the morning here.
What's this? I don't know.
Yeah, here. So yeah, what's the problem?
Me?
No, Kenny Dodgers, Roy Dodgers.
Roy Rogers. Oh gosh.
I thought you'd seen it, and that's why you never put it up.
No, I never seen it. I was wondering what it was all about. Very good, Charlie. You won't be getting mentioned ever again. That's the end of your comments. That'll be mentioned. Anyways, just for me, have you enjoyed it, James?
Good night, Brian. It's nice meeting you. Nice meeting you again.
Good night, James. Yes,
Lovely
likewise. Yes, nice meeting you.
Discussion tonight. Was very happy.
Okay, that was it.
We see a lot of things eye to eye.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Good night, James.
Good night,
Nice
Jan.
introverts, I guess. Yeah. Us foreigners.
And what do you think, Brian?
Second opportunity at this.
Oh, no, well, you'll always be invited on anyway, James. Is that okay?
That's fine. That's fine. I love staying up till 3 a.m. in the morning. Show till 5.
And Charlie Woods, give us a song before you go, Roy.
Jesus. Yeah, let's stick now. The gambler.
The gambler, that's right. Should be the gambler, yeah.
You pin it up your lips and roll.
Kenny.
Well, Brian, what did you think about tonight?
Well, James is great. We see eye to eye, and it's a pleasure with you celebrities. I mean, Kenny Rogers. You're a legend.
Oh, where we go.
Somebody's going to ask Frank for free chicken.
Oh right, I know, right?
Yeah.
I don't believe this. Anyway.
Know when to hold him.
Anyway.
Know when to fall.
I think you liked the Phil Redmond comparison, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
Oh, didn't you?
No.
You wanted them to say you look like Frank Carlyle, didn't you?
Yeah, or Brad Pitt.
Oh, they said Noel Edmonds. Oh, my bad.
Swap shop.
Oh,
Yeah, swap shop. Yeah.
I'm going.
That's it.
Oh, cheers. James, see you next week.
Cheers. Cheers,
Thank
Frank.
you
Good night,
so
everyone.
much.
Yeah. Cheers. Good morning. Yeah.
Good morning.
Are you
I had to drop
okay?
too, but yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So
Been a great one.
next
Thank you again.
Thursday. Next Thursday.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. See you next Thursday,
Ta-ra,
Brian.
Brian. Ta-ra,
Thank
mate.
you, mate.
All right.
Bye
Take
bye.
care. All right, Ian.
Bye
See you,
bye.
mate.
So, what do you think?
Very good, yeah, I enjoyed that.
Did you enjoy it?